Greetings and welcome to the Open-Minded Skeptic podcast. My name is Sharon Ann Rowland and I'm your host. On the podcast today we have Leslie Hillermann, remote viewer. Leslie is a consultant, independent contractor in the field of remote viewing, and she is also an advocate for alternative healthcare. Enjoy the interview.
Well, I think too that I have had experiences with other beings, whether they're extraterrestrial or or just interdimensional or just what they are. I don't know, but I've had some really bizarre car accidents.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what somebody was trying to tell me was that reality is not always what you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, I've had accidents, even here in Fernley, where this elderly woman that was wearing oxygen, an oxygen tube connected to an oxygen tank. I was at McDonald's to get a Diet Coke, and I was looking for some change to do that, and my head was down. And I was just sitting there, and she backed up her car instead of going forward. She went backward and went crashing right into me. And I mean, oh, wow. Great. I'm going, wonderful, okay, I guess my radiator is gone and everything else. So, I get it, because it was pretty significant. And I get out of my car. She gets out of her car. We both get over to our, to our cars. There's no damage.
Wow. Okay.
Absolutely zero damage, no paint, no. She looked at me and she started crying.
Yeah.
And I looked at her and she said something about God loves me, or God must love me. And I said, I think God loves us both. She said, there's no damage. And she was so shocked. She said, there's no damage. And I said, yeah, no, I see it. It's happened to me before. And she was just truly, truly shocked, and she was shaken up. She got back into her car, and we said goodbye, and I hugged her because she was just about ready to faint. And I know that feeling.
Yeah, but that's interesting.
It was interesting. And I just sat there and I thought, you know what? I think you're trying to tell me something.
Yeah.
That reality is maybe not what we always think it is. And that maybe solid mass isn't always what we think it is.
So you're thinking along the simulation line, holographic simulation?
I don't know. Possibly, I don't know. But I've had that happen before, where I was down in Silver Springs. I was delivering food and groceries and other, survival items to a family that was in desperate need. And I accidentally backed into their log that was in their driveway. And she goes, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. It was a very significant dent. And I thought, oh, great. Joe's going to kill me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I was crying all the way up the hill. And I got home to take a look at the damage again, and a little bit, since I'd gone to pieces, I wanted to see it now after I'd collected myself. I went to take a look at the damage, and the fender was completely, it was back to normal.
Wow.
Yeah. It was all back to normal. And I sat there and I thought, I need to call Hyundai to find out if they put memory metal into their cars. And I did. I actually did. I called the Hyundai engineering in Los Angeles, California, to talk to them, and the gal said, "Wait a minute, we'll go." She took down my VIN number and everything on the car, and so she went and she started looking it up. The engineers were looking it up, and they said, "No, I don't have memory metal." in my car. And then I started a little later. The woman was crying. In fact, she came back. I told her about what had happened, and she was crying. She said, "You have guardian angels."
Mm.
And I said, "Well, I've got something. I don't know what it is, but, I've got something."
Mm.
And I'm grateful. But anyway, um, the engineers, a little later, I got a message that, they wouldn't mind having my car if I could, turn my car into them.
Oh,
And I
okay.
thought, yeah, I thought probably they might just wanted to, check it over. Because it's had several incidents where, what should have been a major crash wasn't, what should have, and other people have been there. Other people have seen the damage.
Mm.
And then it all of a sudden disappears.
God, I wish you could come and see my car.
Oh,
Come and drive my car for a day and ding it and fix it. I've got a few other dings you can fix too.
oh
Classic. So, are there any repercussions to yourself physically or spiritually due to your ability to remote view? I mean, has this been a good career?
It has. Now, I did stop remote viewing when the former advisor to Libya, I
Yeah.
voluntarily stopped remote viewing. I called up my boss and I said, I have to stop because I don't want to have a viewing that is used as espionage for Pakistan.
Yeah.
And I said, I just don't want to do that. And so I stopped myself. I voluntarily, did that so I wouldn't be accused of being a spy. And, and then I just bowed out. But a lot of people wanted to say I was a spy anyway, whether I was or not. It's just, oh, you're a spy. You're spying on this, that, and the other. No, I'm not. I like being
But
paid if I spy.
but I suppose every country, as you say, has their own remote viewers, and like you can imagine, the Russian ones are probably selected from school and taken off to a special place. There must
Well,
be there must be some good ones out there.
Well, actually, our remote viewing program started right after the Russians. We discovered Russians doing some very different things, and and then we started in on our program.
Hmm.
And so it was the Russians are actually, pretty advanced.
Oh yeah, I imagine they would be.
Yeah.
Uh, they're very. I mean, everything that they do, they want to be the best at. So they always, they get the kids early, separate them from the parents, and focus on that trait or that ability.
Right.
So I can imagine they've got the best in the world, to be honest.
I would imagine that they do. I think they've got some, fairly amazing viewers and fairly amazing technologies.
It makes you wonder why why anyone would need Trump. But they got these. I mean, to be honest, I love your president. I think he's great, but you know how he's always linked to Russia. I don't think
Oh
they.
yeah.
I don't think they need. If they've got great remote viewers, they don't need to have.
I know him and his tweeting and everything
Oh,
else. Yeah.
oh, he cracks me up. Did you see the other day he posted him with a laser pointer making a cat run around a board?
Oh no.
Seriously, and everybody bit, and it was like and it was obviously a distraction. He was obviously trying to get something through, a bill or something, and it was. I think he got you another 180 judges or something, something amazing. So yeah, he's such a I think with him, people either love him or hate him, don't they? There's no middle ground. It's either one or the other. Yeah. I think he's quite brilliant the way he manipulates the press, to be honest, and the media. And they bite every time. It's
Yeah.
sad. Are you a trumpeter, or are you on the other side?
I stay away from politics. That's
Oh,
one of the things that
clever.
we do. Religion we stay away from, politics we stay away from, anything that is a trigger for anybody. We're
Right.
neutral.
Fence sitter. You're a fence sitter.
That's it. That's it. Well, it's kind of expected. It's expected behavior. So,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
yeah, I think you've got to be more careful in the US at the moment. There's a lot of people are so easily offended. So you probably find that over time you've had to be a little bit more like, well, I'll just keep this to myself. And so,
Oh yeah. It can be lethal over here. I mean, there are some people that are
yeah.
pretty adamant, and it's almost it's dangerous to mention anything political. I wouldn't mention anything of a political nature.
It's bizarre, isn't it? I mean,
It's
not
human
that,
nature.
yeah, I mean, I remember my mum telling me you never speak at a dinner party about sex, religion, or politics. Those are the three things you should never discuss in polite society. So maybe that was a very good, you know, suggestion. And it's just I can't, it's quite amazing how everyone now has an opinion on politics, whereas I don't know, 10 years ago, everyone thought it was so boring, didn't they?
Yeah.
Why don't we go back to that? Well, probably not until for another 4 years at least, I'd say.
Yeah, probably. Uh,
Do you know, I had a thought the other day. Do you think his son and daughter will run?
I don't know.
I think they will. I had this psychic impression that there's going to be 16 years of Trumps in the White House.
Oh my gosh! Well, that'll cool some people.
And then when they run out of Trumps, they can move on to the Kushners.
Oh my goodness, yeah, really. Oh,
Oh, classic, classic, classic. So, yes. No, I mean, I must admit, I do enjoy the trolling, his memes and his trolling. So, I've never really been a Twitter person. Are you on Twitter?
yeah.
No, I've only been on there for the magazine, but I must admit, and I never usually follow anyone, but I follow him because he amuses me.
Yeah.
You know, he's he's got a very dry sense of humor. But it's my sense of humor, I think. Is it your sense of humor?
Yeah, I come from a British background, so
Uh,
yeah, too. So yeah, a dry sense of humor is
oh,
is something I enjoy. So,
yeah. That's so he's kind of my entertainment at times, and
mhm.
and he's like nothing sticks to him. A good nickname for him would be Teflon Trump.
Oh, yep, that would be perfect. Yeah,
Because
yep.
no matter what is thrown at him, it just kind of slides off and away, and it usually flicks back at them. It's like just amazing. So yes, I think it's a very special time. You should be
Yeah.
documenting everything because
Uh,
I don't think there'll ever be another one like him ever again. So, yeah. So are you and Joe both in the same kind of political sphere?
I
Or
don't
is
know.
this one of the reasons you don't talk about it?
We don't really talk about it sometimes, but we just, politics is just not something that we really discuss. And
I
that's been
know.
30 years of it, so we
Yeah.
don't really discuss anything. We haven't discussed much of anything for 30 years, so.
Well,
Oh,
yeah, it really is only since he's come along that anyone's really paid any attention to politics. I mean,
yeah,
it's up until then, it was like once every blue moon, something awful would happen, and then everybody would get excited, and then it would die down within a day, and then back to normal. But
yeah.
no. So, how long have you had for the dog?
Oh, 4 is, well, he just turned a year
It's only a
on,
year. Okay.
yep, on August 23rd. He became 1 years old. So
Wow.
yeah,
He's big for a 1-year-old, isn't he?
he is big, and I mean he's quite tall.
Hmm.
He's right up there with the counters. I mean,
Yeah.
now everything has to be pushed back because if I leave anything on the counter like a chicken, it's gone.
Oh, really?
It is. It is. It's like I have to be so careful now. But
You don't have that. I don't have that problem. I have cats.
oh, although no, they might.
The worst owls do occasionally they bring things in from outside. They're hunters, and so occasionally I wake up to a very happy cat wanting to show me something that they hunted, and it's like, oh, take it away.
Oh no. Aw.
Yeah. so so I yeah, I can tolerate that.
Aw.
Okay. Mhm.
Well, Sharon, can we take just a few minutes break? Can I
I
take a?
We're actually done.
Oh, okay.
We
Excellent.
are. We're all done. I was just going to ask if you had anything you'd like to ask while we're on. Otherwise, I'll let you get back to your day and I'll go to bed.
Oh no. Okay. Actually, there's nothing else. I'm trying to look at your questions to see that we.
Oh, we covered everything. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
we
We
did we
did.
did the works. The only extra thing I'd like is would you send me through a few more photographs of your I don't know,
Sessions.
yeah, or more of you actually, of
Oh.
maybe around the time you were doing the remote viewing,
Oh. Okay.
if you have anything.
Yeah, I do. Um. hmm. Yeah, I only have one picture that my boss took. Of the actually the the clay structure that I made of the
The clay.
Brandenburg Gate that is
Oh
just so embarrassing because
no, we've got
that
to have it.
pilot actually he sculpted this castle that was exactly like the castle in the photograph, and it was beautiful. And he had the turret just in white and little red flags, and everything was perfect. He even had shrubbery on his, and I'm going, oh my gosh! And here I am. My Brandenburg Gate is yellow. I
Oh, it's
just
classic.
used yellow and made my columns just by spraying. Oh, it was awful. It was like a 2-year-old. And I have that photograph, but I do have some photographs. I'm gonna have to dig them up of my other classmate and myself out at the lake there at Boulder Dam, Nevada, where we took that sensitivity training where we
Oh
had to
yeah.
start looking at the colors and the textures and the feel of the wind, and it was pretty windy. It was cold.
Oh,
But
that perfect. That would be perfect.
okay. Well, well, yeah, I guess I can scan it and send it to you then.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
And I've already got a remote viewing manual, so I'll attach that to this one too, because
Okay.
most people will see this and they'll say, "Oh, well, let's have a go at it." So
Sure.
we'll get them do that. And
Well, it's just like my high school, the high school kids. If it had
yeah,
not been for those high school kids, I would have been really in a lot of trouble. Their intelligence gathering in just that short amount of time actually gave me enough information that I needed so I wouldn't be so scared, you
did you
know.
say did you say you got into trouble for using them?
I did. I did. I got into trouble. I told my boss about it. You're not supposed to do that because they might see something that will be traumatizing and all this other stuff. And I thought these kids are pretty, they're blowing things up constantly with, with their, with the video games, that it shouldn't be that life threatening, and it wasn't. They didn't see anything that was, uh,
Too
traumatic.
traumatizing.
Yeah, no traumatizing anything. Those kids were great. They did a
Yeah.
terrific job.
That
But
sounds like just what you needed at the time you needed it. So
I,
again, guardian angel stuff.
yeah, there it
Hmm.
was. Yeah.
Well, that's all for our podcast. Thanks for listening, and remember, if you want to support what we do, then share, subscribe, and leave a positive review over on iTunes for the Open-Minded Skeptic. My team and I look forward to entertaining you once again in our next podcast. To check when our next podcast is, simply head over to www.tomspod.com. That's www.tomspod.com.